Boom, baby, we're alive. Welcome to Interview with the Man, episode 512, where we're talking about how modern women ruin relationships on our theme of the month here in March, Modern Women March. I am joined here by my good friend, Raith Deantoir. Raith, morning, man. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Well, let's just jump right into it. So, obviously, Rate's the last minute fill in here. Donovan was supposed to be here, but I think he forgot. But it's okay. He's running his own show and all that jazz. Raith, you have, quite frankly, watched the decline of America.
Okay. I
Well,
don't know if I'm that old, but okay.
well, not that wasn't an age thing. No, that wasn't an age thing. But I'm just saying, like, I mean, because Mark was in the chat yesterday, and he was talking about how how he's witnessed, like, body counts going up and chicks just being just quite frankly acting like animals. And from my perspective, it's like the average modern woman now in the United States, in the West in general, is like incentivized to be like a dirtbag human. Is that a little too extreme for you, or what do you say?
No, I think I've always said, when it comes to feminism, I don't understand why taking the worst attributes of the worst men and emulating that makes you an equal to me. Okay. I mean, because if you really look at it, that's what they're looking at. They've taken over the years, they've taken the aspect of what they thought men were at their worst and said, we deserve that same freedom. Okay. And the reality of it is most men aren't like that. It's only about 10 to 20% of the men in the world, the Chads,
Right.
that go through life like that. But unfortunately now it's about 100% of the women. Well, it's probably about 80 to 90% of the women are doing that, and they're saying, now I'm equal to you.
Right. Right.
And I think it's, it happened with, the invention of birth control and those kind of things so that they had the sexual freedom. But the reality of it is they have this unrealistic view of what happened before that. All men didn't have sexual freedom before that either.
Right.
So, and the only thing that made all men equal in that respect, for the most part, was the fact that women, controlled the purity side of life and the purity side of marriage until they were married. So that every man was wanting to get that.
Right. And I think that's what men still want, but it's just become quite elusive.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I blame it on, a lot of things as the families started to disintegrate. Women were sitting there saying, if I realize my sexuality, I'm equal to a man. And then, they got rid of men out of the families for the most part. At least, 60 to 70% are single parent families now.
Right.
And there's no one to teach young men or young women in the families boundaries. Because, as life today for women is about not having boundaries. They can do anything.
Isn't that crazy? Like, just because we're men, we're forced to live in reality, but that women, these modern women, think that they could do whatever they want and there'll be no consequences, and that not only will there be no consequences, but they're entitled to have what they desire.
Well, because it's been 50 years of telling them they can do whatever they want. And it's not that men can go out and do whatever they want.
I wish.
It's their interpretation of that.
I wish I'd go out and rob the banks just for fucking fun. Yeah. It's crazy. I want to talk about the modern chick nowadays and how they ruin relationships. The girls that are in the relationships and outside, right? You and I were talking about a personal situation of, a girl that I know that is actively trying to sabotage another relationship, right? I had Afi on. We were talking about it yesterday. I asked Dre, and I like to get a medley of perspectives on this from seasoned men that I respect. Why do you think that these modern chicks actively sabotage their girlfriends who are in relationships? Do you think it's malicious at first?
No, I just think it comes out from this understanding that, um, and I want to say this too. I don't think it's just other women that are sabotaging, because now how many women look at men as their friends, and have made them girlfriends, and they're, even if they're not sitting there waiting, um, to be with the girl, the reality of it is they're sitting there advising them as a girl would, because that's the way most young men are today. They have this feminine acceptance, and they also, as I guess Rollo says, they're defective women.
Right.
And but I let's take it all the way back to what really causes the problem.
Right.
Um, there's no accountability. There's no accountability in their lives.
Women's lives.
Basically, most young people today.
Yeah.
I mean, if we work in this group, and what's the first thing that we try to start holding people these young men accountable?
Right.
So it's a lack of accountability across society. It's not just women.
Right.
And this girl has no accountability because she hasn't been taught accountability, because her mom had no accountability,
Right.
and there's no father there to hold her accountable for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know the situation you're talking about, and it creates this idea where I can say anything and do anything I want, because there's no outcome from it other than the outcome that I get to say what I get to say. Mm-hmm. And there's no accountability to, if this girl that she's talking to, all right, would look at that from a standpoint of, yes, you're my friend, but if you're going to be my friend, you have to accept the situation I'm in, not your interpretation of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And when people don't even know anything about relationships, and you look at the way relationships go today, how can she even advise someone? She's not advising the person about the relationship. She's advising the person about her feelings about how she should feel, and trying to project that on the other young lady.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because God knows the world's all about us, right? Individuals.
I love how opinionated single women are on relationships. Oh man.
I used to, I, as you guys know, I've been married, and I'm widowed. And I remember in my first marriage, young guys would come to me and they would ask me things about, well, how do you live with, your wife, and when things come up, how do you handle this? And I would tell them, then they go do the opposite. And I would talk to them, why did you do that? Well, I was talking to my other buddies who were all single, and they're trying, they took that advice over my advice. And it always amazed me that, I'd been married 33 years,
mm-hmm.
and you would rather listen to someone that, can't even get a date.
Yeah.
How to work within your relationship. And those things are they're odd to me, but they're not, because people are constantly wanting to be validated about how they feel, what they want to do, not what they need to do.
Right.
So
And
as
that's
I
yeah.
went through life, I just kind of quit advising people, unless they seriously wanted to work on their relationship, or they really seriously wanted to work on themselves.
Yeah.
There was just not much sense telling someone. If they have a preconceived idea about what they think or what they feel is the right thing to do, you can't change their mind.
That's super super wise of you. And I never even really, put it like that until you mentioned it right now, but people, they want to do what they want to do, and then and it's usually emotionally driven, and then they'll just ask people around them to kind of validate what they already want to do.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. That's pretty deep.
And people seek that out. Look at look at whatever social conscious things going on right now. They're seeking out validation, and they're seeking out belonging, because there's no. The true leaders are few and far between these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a sad thing, because where does that come from? Leading or understanding leadership, it comes from fathers.
Yeah.
And because there's so few fathers today, there's very few leaders.
Yeah. I mean, the guys are just like, I mean, it's one thing to be like, you could be a dad, but it's different from being a dad than it is being a father. Kind of
Right.
like being a man from being a male. And yeah, a lot of the thing is, yeah, it all boils down to the lack of having a father in the house. I realized that. Um, I was chatting with Allie, the real femme sapien girl, and she was mentioning, she's like, yeah, like when you don't have a father in the household, it's just chaotic as shit. And I experienced that myself. I find it interesting because you've lived, such a great life, and you're with the opposite. You were raised by your father only, and the
Right.
statistics are night and day from like single mother household versus single father household. There's
Yeah.
ultra stability. I mean, the guys just blow the women out the water. Um, I don't know. Did you watch yesterday when I put that clip of that single black mother from TikTok?
Yeah. I watched the show yesterday. It was, I don't know. I understand where Offie's coming from, and Offie and I are different in a lot of respects, as far as, you know, um, I don't have a problem being in a relationship, and I don't
Yeah,
have a problem being married.
and I respect you for that. I used now that I'm grown up a little bit. Um, at first I was like, when you told me that, I was like, what is this guy? I don't know what this guy's all about. But now I'm starting to see the benefits of being monogamous and just having one woman. And there's a lot of I think there's a lot more benefits if you have the right woman
Right.
to being monogamous than to going out womanizing and shit. Because I never thought I could be happy just being like having seriously dedicated myself to one chick. Quite frankly, I thought that was like, oh, that's fucking beta. That's some pussy shit or whatever. But I mean, you had two marriages that were, one was, you said, was 33 years, and then the second one was,
7 years.
yeah, yeah, and no divorce, guys. Just unfortunately, they passed away. It is what it is. Um, but yeah, I think for society as a whole, it's better. I think most guys do want relationships. I don't think most guys want to go out and bang a bunch of girls, and even if they do, it's just very short lived. I think at the end of the day, guys are a little bit more reserved in what they want. They don't want this, like, they don't want that fresh and fit lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know that there's a portion of your life that you probably want to do that, because I've done it too.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Looks like
the
Thor's
reality
joining
of
us.
it is if I'm always doing that, I don't have time for the other things I enjoy doing or I want to do.
Right. It is a huge time sink.
Right.
It is a massive time sink.
And you see so many guys spending all their time doing that, and they don't advance in their careers. They don't advance in other things they want to do in their life. And that's what I try to get these guys to understand. If you go back to Buddha, it's all things in balance.
Right.
If you can't run all things in balance, then something's going to give.
Right.
And
oh yeah.
As you look at, you focused for 4 years. You focused on, money, muscles, game. And at some point, you started understanding that frame was important, and that inner game has been important.
The most important now, in my personal opinion, now that I've grown up, as you like to remind me often.
I teach you about whiteboard John.
Yeah.
But there was something I saw in you then when I was working with you, and in talking to you then. There was something I saw in you that was going to, showed me that you had the ability to grow.
Yeah.
And you have grown.
Yes. Thank you.
Thor,
welcome to the show, my man.
Good morning, guys. How are you doing?
Great. Is that a new microphone? Looking good.
Yeah, we went ahead and did that, and we put the Roadcaster in place too for upcoming shows.
We're all growing here. We're all growing. Welcome, Thor. You also are in a wonderful relationship with a wonderful woman, and you also know the positive sides of relationships. You also have watched the decline of the average American woman and man as well, quite frankly, right? And we're talking about how these modern chicks ruin these relationships. Raith was saying that he believes it's basically no accountability, no dad in the home, right? I mean, a fatherless home is just chaos. Ask me how I know. And no boundaries, no accountabilities. Why do you think all these women have just lost their fucking mind and be incentivized to be pieces of shit these days?
Well, I have a couple of theories on that. Now we're talking long-term relationship destruction, because they're good at the short-term stuff, right? I mean, easy to date. At least that's what we're seeing so far. It's in the moment.
If you can't even call it dating, that's short term.
You can even call it that. To me, I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on. It seems almost like it was done on purpose to us culturally. We talk about the culture war, and it seems like it was done to us with good intentions, like in the name of egalitarianism, but there wasn't a lot of thought put into it. It definitely has an impact, and in my mind, it's definitely something that was done on purpose. Tell the gals that they can do anything they want. Tell the guys that they can't compete. Everybody gets a trophy. Going against their innate natures for many, many years has resulted in what we're starting to see a glimpse of right now. And as the women, modern women come up, date, they don't have long-term relationships. They're very unhappy. They won't have children until they're ready. We see the demographic going down. We can't even keep up with the birth rate. We are headed towards a catastrophe, but it's a slow one. We are slowly sliding into the loss of population. Funny thing is, back in the 60s, we were panicked about overpopulation.
Yeah.
And here we are today, sliding down that slope. Even China, now they would like them to have 3 children.
Yep.
Any man under 50, it's outlawed to have a vasectomy. Interesting. So I think it was done on purpose. Modern women, it's sad to see, because you can see the level of unhappiness and the loss of purpose. I mean, the universe gave these women a beautiful purpose, is to have children, enjoy life, be fulfilled. And there is a whole biology that's built to do that. It's an amazing thing. It's a great gift.
Yep.
And when you see a woman, a young woman, particularly a modern young woman today that's fulfilling that, it's like a shining light, because you don't see it very often.
No, you don't. What's your take on single women and why they kind of sabotage their friends' relationships?
Misery loves company.
Ooh. Please go on.
I mean, it really does. I mean, when you're miserable and you can commiserate together, considering that women are communitarian by nature, if one of them's upset, it feels good to vent and get those emotions out. We all know that. So some of us as men's in our men's group will do that privately to some extent.
Right.
It's good to get those emotions out, but women tend to do that in a more public fashion than, let's say, a masculine man would.
Right.
And although it's becoming more popular for men to vent too, and it pisses me off. It's kind of silly. I like to say, just suck it up and deal with it like a man.
Right.
But as far as the women are concerned, yeah, misery loves company. Why do I think that is? I think it's always been that way. It's in the nature. It makes them feel much better to voice their concerns. But when they do that, they are so influenceable. You know, remember, it's just like pre-selection. You know how we have pre-selection? If you're a guy that has women around you, other women want to be around you.
Right.
If one woman is miserable and then she gets another friend miserable, it just starts to attract. Misery attracts attention, you know, and you can see that with all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, I personally believe that women who are like, who try to sabotage the relationships, I think that they are, it's an uncomfortable mirror that gets held up in front of their face, right? Because these single chicks running around pretending that they don't want to be in relationships are lying sacks of shit. Like
I completely agree with that. I absolutely do. Now, I don't have as many single women friends as I used to. I'm mostly seeing, at my age, I'm almost 60, I'm 59. I'm seeing couples that are divorced, women that are divorced at my age. And I'll see married couples that are younger than me go through what's called gray divorce. So I'm seeing these groups of women. One will get a divorce, watch all the divorce porn, read all the books, Eat, Pray, Love, you know, traveling, the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants Club, whatever it is. And they'll drag their sisters, so to speak, or their friends that are married into this divorce cycle. I've watched it happen. I watched an entire cul-de-sac of ladies get divorced. One of them got divorced. They would always meet for coffee. And then pretty soon they were meeting at the bar, you know, commiserating over the one gal's misery because she was going through divorce. And, you know, you'd hear stories that they would be talking about the other husbands. And pretty soon they were all a bunch of dirty bastards. And every one of those ladies got divorced. Damn. I know those men personally. And on top of that, they're living their best life now. The girls, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a sad thing when something like that infects a group of ladies.
They're kind of dumb in the sense that they think that they can go out. They just think the bigger, better deal is out there. They think the grass is greener on the other side. Like, you know, when I was dating, you know, my ex, and she was like very, you know, supportive and really just wonderful woman to me. And I would be walking down the train in like the train stations, and I would just see like all these beautiful women walking past me every day. In Japan, there's beautiful women everywhere, right? I would see like 25 gorgeous women every day walking past me. And at first I was like, I'm with this girl and I see all these beautiful women walking around me. I could be with all these women. That's what I was thinking, right? But then I was like, wait, take a moment to live in reality where we all live. You're assuming you're going to have 100% success rate with all these chicks. They're all, you know, none of them are going to reject you. None of them are going to be crazy. None of them are going to ghost you. None of them are going to fucking have smelly vaginas and like weird fucking shit going on with them, you know? And it was just me assuming the greatest possible scenario out there and not understanding the real reality of it all, which is every man that has ever communicated with us, unless he's a celebrity, has been rejected more times than he's been accepted by women. And those odds are not in your favor as a man. It's just the name of the game.
Oh, it's even worse. You know, now that I'm fully waking up here, you know, back to your question earlier about why modern women are ruining relationships. Look at the number of women that are getting educated today in our college systems. It's
Educated.
it's well above 60%. So that's 2/3, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you have an answer right there.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at least in the West, you can see what's going on. There is a strong feminist, third wave feminist teaching agenda that's broadcast throughout the university systems. It has been for almost 35 years now.
Right.
And what does that say, John? It says you can have it all. Party in your 20s, date the big buff guy, date the fat guy, date the dad bod, date the lawyer, date the doctor, date the pool boy. And then in your mid 30s, now here's the key, in your mid 30s, settle down and, go ahead and settle down. You can have it all. And you'll have a guy that's at least your equal. Of course, we know women don't want equal, but that's what they're saying. They want your equal, right? And then you can settle down. He'll respect you and you can live happily ever after. That is not true in any sense of the word. It can't be true. It goes against our nature. So that is a huge disappointment. And this is why I say that it's a plan, John, because when a woman reaches her mid 30s, she's now in what you would call, if she got pregnant, a geriatric pregnancy. Yeah. She only has a 15 to 20% chance of getting pregnant. If we play the odds and just use the Pareto curve to see who gets pregnant, you are not going to have a future that's very bright or filled with children. You're actually going to have a reduction in population. So what's been broadcast in our universities for the last 35 years is directly responsible for where modern women are today. By the time they realize this, it's too late, because all of media, politics, and even local communities have supported this agenda or this narrative. And it was all paved with good intentions. Hey, this sounds great. Yeah, it sounds very communitarian. It sounds fantastic. Maybe us as men back in the day should have realized, maybe we need to take another look and offer something as opposed to what we're going through now. We'll learn our lesson, though, or we'll be doomed to repeat it again in the future.
Yeah, but here's my issue with this. Okay. Why can't women at some point see through this and think for themselves? I understand we're teaching it to them from a young age and stuff like that, but there doesn't seem to be any growth in the young women.
This is why men rule the world. Straight up, we're the better sex. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
And men are I'm going to be honest about my own sex. Men contribute to this too.
Oh yes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's because it's all about the poon, baby.
None of them would be able to pick this up, Thor. None of those fucking worms out there would be able to pick this up.
and like I said, if we're contributing to it, and here's the thing. I think most women, in reality, most women want relationships.
They do. Absolutely.
100%.
Around the fucking globe. Around the globe.
And the thing is most men are willing to give it to them on their terms.
They are. 100%.
And roll over and show that belly.
That's the problem.
Yep. My girl now, she's like, "You're the first guy that's ever had standards that I've been with." I was like, don't talk like that. You can't do that. What are you doing? No, that's not okay. I mean, you could do that, but you're gonna be fucking single. You won't be my girl. Because most guys they have no backbone.
Yeah, you're playing your nature and instincts, John, because when you do that and you offer those guide rails, let's just stay control out of it, or standards out. But say you offer those guide rails to fence her in, she gets security, and now she has security. Now the purpose of the universe becomes clear to her. She has a relationship, and procreation starts to become much more of a need. That's where we get the baby rabies term. It starts to weigh heavily on her, the purpose of the universe and why we're actually here. It takes both of us. Men and women are better together than apart. I think that women have been told that's not true.
Yep. Modern Wagey has a pretty good comment here. He says the agenda is that they want women in the wage cage too. Before it was just men, the Globo Homo sapien corporations need more serfs to work and consume their product. Working women are perfect for them. And I talked about this on the show with Afi yesterday, right? Let's just be very concrete. The number one people in America taking prescription drugs, women. Okay. Antidepressants, anxiety, popping those things like fucking Pez. The number one holders of large student debt, women, 900 billion plus dollars. Majority of those degrees, useless, shitty degrees as well. It's not like an army of doctors holding that debt. 90% of all divorces are initiated by college educated women. Or excuse me, college educated women initiate divorce 90% of the time. The majority of divorces in America initiated by women. Divorce affects the woman the least. It affects the man and the children way more than it does her. She gets off scot-free, and they're incentivized to literally destroy the family. And to top it off, given all the freedom and rights that these women have in America, they have literally become the fattest people in human history. So, I mean, they're just all falling victims to corporatism, corporate slavery, marketing agendas. Like these girls who think they're so smart and so woke and like, oh, hashtag Black Lives Matter, hashtag Me Too, all this shit. They think that these are original thoughts that are in their mind, but these are all things that have been engineered and programmed into them, but they're too dumb to realize it.
Bingo. Absolutely. Yeah. Completely agree with you. And here's the thing, guys, there is a solution out there. It's going to be slow, but it's going to be guys like you, John, Raith, and that's to men are the solution to this issue.
We always are.
Well, but like I said, it's going to take a revival of manhood, or and masculinity. Yeah, I mean, way too many guys are just capitulating to the fact that, I if nothing else, I can be her friend and maybe it'll happen. And they're not standing out there. And as we talk and as we work through your group, and we start working with these young men, you start finding that there's a real lack of understanding of what it takes to be a man. And that's why so many young men are unhappy today. It's not that they're not getting laid. It's that they don't have a basis for understanding themselves, because they're trying to understand themselves as women see them, because that's how they're told to view themselves. And the biggest thing, when I started working with we were working on what my primary service was to providing people on how to better themselves in their careers.
Right.
But as I got into trying to help them better themselves in their career, I realized that they didn't have the skill set to, even challenge themselves to be better in their careers.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into, working on the emotional and, the psychological side of things. Am I trained in it? Yes, but that wasn't the focus. I was trying to focus on when I first come in. But the thing is, as you look, I can honestly say everyone I've worked with, for the most part, on the career side, didn't know what they wanted on their personal life either.
Yeah.
And that's why when we were talking, I don't know, a while back, I told you, if it's affecting your career life, it's affecting every part of your life. You just don't realize it.
Yeah.
Because you're making the same decisions with the same decision set and decision-making skills in your personal life that you're making in your career life.
Yeah. And
that's so true. That's so true. It's amazing that I had a similar path to you, Ray. When I started, when John had pulled me in, and I was doing some coaching on career, absolutely, in the craft, skilled craft area. But my primary focus was older men's fitness. I'm nearly 100% consulting on long-term relationships right now, based on my experience and my experience with others, and being, married for 30 years and in a successful relationship. And I find almost the same thing is true. Just the basic, and it's the basics that you and I would call it, Raith, has not been passed to the generation, or there may be some fundamentals there, but they're distracted from it.
Right.
You know, very distracted from it. And these poor women, they're definitely have sympathy. They're being sold how wonderful a soul-crushing cube farm is.
Oh my god, that's the hilarious part of it all. Like I'm an empowered woman. I'm so empowered. I'm gonna go be a slave to a corporation.
Right.
I'm the same way, right? I mean, when I first started my channel in 2015, the last thing I think would be happening is me throwing the Inner Game Healing Summit and helping guys overcome lifelong traumas. But like you said, Raith, you're connected. And Thor, it's all connected.
Right.
When your mental makeup is fucked up, your health is going to be fucked up. Your relationships are going to be fucked up. Your family life is going to be fucked up. Your sex life is going to be fucked up. Everything all goes back to that inner core. And the baseline of why everybody is so fucked up nowadays is internally, everybody's fucked up. I will go even further and say, I think the women in America, and this is not like me beating down on women because whatever, I hate women or some bullshit, right? But I think that the women are way more fucked up than the men are on the grand scheme of things. They're just better at putting on a poker face because they're master liars. You know, they sit there, they post, they look at an Instagram photo 100 times before they post it. They write the caption 1,000,000 times. They delete things. They add things. They add emoji, delete emojis. You know what I mean? Everything is curated. Filters, AI modifications, who they like, what do they click like on, what they post. Everything is curated to seek the validation of people.
Yes, external validation. We've discussed this before. It's very important to this new generation rather than self-validation. And that's the key to getting this turned around, is teaching people how to self-validate. Now, of course, you need some external validation, but boy, you can way overdo it. And then it's all you are is a hollow container expecting this validation to roll in, and you'll do anything for it to get that dopamine hit. Right. We've seen that over and over again. And when we get our guys to stop doing that and to self-validate, it's like the universe opens up before their very eyes.
But who in the family teaches how to self-validate?
Father.
Right.
Dad. I didn't even. I obviously, the theme of the show is like I did not get raised with a father, but yeah, that's why I used women as a crutch for the longest time. Like literally, like if I wasn't fucking new girls, I would be like, damn, I'm a loser. I needed that constant influx of new pussy to feel good as a man, to feel like good about myself. And now that I've done all these work on myself and, been crushing it with the internal stuff since October, now looking back out there, looking at the dating field, like now I get on Tinder and Bumble, I'm like, look at all these damaged bitches.
So the universe opened up for you. I mean, once you learn those skills, even without growing up with a father, you have men like me and Raith and others. And now that you have adopted some of those skills for yourself and realized this, wouldn't you say the universe opened up and flowered before your eyes?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still optimizing to be very transparent with everybody, but I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. Like, I think I'm way worse off than I actually am. But since I've been like doing a lot of work and like really just having an honest conversation and an honest look at myself and just, shooting for, I want to say shooting for perfection, but I know I'll never be perfect, but just working on shit, just optimizing. A lot of opportunities have came my way. A lot of things are just more effortless now. It's just it's very interesting to see once you get your inner world sorted out. There's some pain when you first solve the inner world. There's some pain and growth you have to go through. You got to lose people in your life. You got to shed people. You got to shed some friendships and all that. But there's always new friendships and new things waiting at the next level. And that's what I'm realizing. And I'm realizing that most people, they refuse to do this. They refuse to have that hard look at themselves because everybody doesn't want to see the truth about themselves. More people are comfortable lying about themselves and lying to themselves, saying everything's going to be okay. And
We all do that to some extent, 100%.
Right. That's true. But I think like I said, especially even Afi was saying it yesterday that girls will lie to themselves about the reality of their situation all over and over and over again because they just can't deal with the pain of the truth. And I think that's what separates men from women. And that's what I think.
There's a whole industry around that, makeup industry, the fashion industry. It's all around that. I mean, that is a powerful thing that you stated, that lack, that emptiness, and to fill it. That's external validation for sure. And there's a lot of commercial successes out there based on selling that. Books, media, clothes, makeup, movies, the whole thing.
Yep.
Well, but I think a lot of it is they don't know the truth, John, because they've never been offered the truth.
Women?
And now when they get offered the truth, by the time they're 22 to 30, by the time they get offered to the truth, it's so painful to hear it.
Yeah.
That they run from it.
It is painful, isn't it?
I mean, you see it, and I know the show's about women, but I want to draw parallels because way too many men have bought into this, and they're suffering from the same thing.
Yeah.
Being over emotional, not, living in this fantasy that they're owed something, and probably the best, both my wives, they understood the fact that they weren't owed anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest problem is this entitlement the entitlement of the last, I want to say 2 generations. All right. That they're owed something. And, that you can be prosperous without effort.
Yeah.
Well, that's for sure. And I would say that my wife was parallel to that. She knows she's not owed anything. Therefore, she has a grateful mindset. That makes a relationship very much easier to navigate.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like talking about the entitlement, because all they see is the ideal in regards to relationships, right? They just see the ideal. They think a relationship, you enter it, it should be nonstop bliss, nonstop happiness. If there's one argument, if the man has one flaw, if she can't get her way, he's toxic, he's a narcissist, he's controlling, he's an abuser, get out of that relationship. And the perfect man is just waiting for you out there. And I want to just keep on, I've been harping on about this because that is literally the reality, the false reality that these girls believe in, that they are entitled to the perfect man.
They're told that.
Yeah.
They're taught it in our universities.
Yeah. While also taught that men are demonized and bad at the same time. I have a clip here that I was going to do a breakdown on my own, but I'm going to, you guys down to take a look at this?
Sure.
Take a look at here. So this is off Rollist Clips channel. So this chick right here, this is a girl who has consistently been on the Fresh and Fit podcast. And she's very entitled. This girl, in my opinion, stinks of like a rich father who took care of her and she kind of resents him. That's the energy I get from her. This is Torsha. She's basically a red pill commentary girl. And, this girl is just something else. I just want you to take a look here and listen because this is you'll pick up the vibe.
Deal marital situation or everything we're talking about.
Do you want to
here.
get married?
Yeah, what's ideally?
So I grew up in Israel, and over there, I guess the 20th century is the norm. Everybody gets married in their early 20s. That's just how it is. And my parents have a gorgeous marriage and with traditional gender roles. I would like at some point to meet a partner who can be that for me. But I'm not at all ready to do that anytime soon.
So translation, I just want to go out and get fucked a bunch and just party and do what the fuck I want. And I'm expecting there to be no negative repercussions for my actions. And also, when I'm ready, I know that the perfect man will just be standing there waiting for me.
Oh, I agree, because she's counting on her beauty to last until she's ready.
Well, I actually watched this whole show. I don't spend a lot of time watching red pill stuff, but I watched this whole show.
Mm-hmm.
She was with a blue check mark guy,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of fucked her over.
Hmm.
And she talks about it in the show. But the issue is she saw all these warning flags, as she said, and she still went through with it.
Because she's the special princess. She's the exception to the rule.
Right. And then it didn't end well. And here she is now carrying that scar, I guess, with her into the next relationship. And every woman that goes through these multiple relationships in their 20s, they carry that baggage in with them. And it's hard for a guy to live up, because each time there's baggage, it creates a new set of standards that guy must meet, because they never want to feel that pain again.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's why when you get a 30-year-old gal or a 40-year-old gal or a 50-year-old gal, there's so much damage there that it's not really worth dating them for the most part.
Yeah.
I've actually seen that struggle too, even with a woman that hasn't dated that much, but with a widower, and that had actually a very good husband after some 25 years that passed away, trying to date again. And it's not a pretty sight. Everybody's got to live up to that standard.
They're saying that she was with Tristan Tate. Is that who she was with? One of the Tate brothers?
I don't know if that's who it was. She didn't give the name, but she did talk about him. I didn't get that from what she was saying, but she knew all the, she followed him on Instagram, and she knew everything that was going on in his life, and she still went and dated him.
Let's continue. I want to break down this clip a little bit more for the guys in the audience as well. Just giving you the idea of the delusion here.
Tori.
And that's
one thing that the thing about her too that bothers me, dude. This is a super padded bra. Her tits are not even that big. I get really pissed off about this. That's just a personal thing. If they wear a super padded bra and I take it off, she's like a B cup max, because I've seen her on Instagram. This is false advertisement. You deserve to have your heart broken.
Oh, I love it. Anything over a mouthful's a waste.
Oh, I hate it. Oh, you really? Oh no, I can't. I mean, I'm whatever.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
I mean, for me, I like 34 being up ideally.
Yeah.
Here we go.
23, right? This is when you're supposed to make a
So the girl on the left is 23. Torch is 27. Rest in peace.
bet. That's how it would fix things. But nobody, I'm 27. When I was 23, I was in no way ready to say that's the guy and make the bet on the guy. I'm using you as an example. So sorry.
ahead.
Okay, don't think that I'm
Use
like
me all you
being
like.
rude. But okay. But like, you want to be independent. One way that this whole thing could be fixed was if women were dependent on men, but we took that away. So women, was it 60% are in college?
60-40.
60-40. So 60% of women are getting college educated. Women will divorce a man if they don't make, you have to make the same. No,
58% more makes you economically attractive.
Yeah. So women are like, I want a guy that makes the same as me or more, which
that would incentivize me to make more, because then he would make more.
Well, hold on. So in order to be the same, they have to make 58% more. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make sense.
So if a woman is making $100,000, a guy needs to make $158,000
exactly.
a year in order to appease the woman,
or else she
to be economically attractive.
Yeah, she will. There's some way.
Well, 75% of women are the ones that initiate divorce.
It's higher than that.
It's more than
it's
that.
like about 80%.
I peg it. It depends on whose numbers you're looking at. It can be anywhere between 70 and 80.
I see 79 really commonly. But
okay, so but back to the question.
Is, like, if women are divorcing men at a 79% rate, whatever, and the reason is financial, And there's a direct correlation between women divorcing men when they out-earn them. Women have to be dependent on men in order for a marriage to actually work. She wants to be
Here's where I
independent.
disagree completely.
Well, this is stats.
It's not that one has to be dependent on the other. It's that one has to accept the role of the nurturer, and then the person who nests, and the person who and then the other person has to be the one who provides. I don't agree.
Again, this is like,
Yeah.
do you think I get spoiled brat vibes from her big time?
Yeah, she's not really even hearing what Tori says. And I got to see something about Tori. I really wasn't familiar with her, but she's doing a pretty damn good job here. And she caught my attention because she called me a troll on Paul's channel. So I guess I'm a fan now. She saw my avatar and said, "Oh, it's fake. He's a troll." Okay. But she's doing a good job here. But I don't think this gal is actually here. She's blocking. She's not hearing it. She just disagrees. And actually, can you see something here? Look at her face. She's starting to get emotional. You could see she kind of, if you back up just a little, she wants to jump in that conversation. So that's showing that she's getting emotional about that comment that Tori made.
Yeah.
Well, she wants to prove them wrong.
Right.
And she can't, that's the thing. She wants her feelings to prove them wrong. By feeling through this, she can prove that it's wrong. It's not wrong. The numbers are the numbers.
Yeah.
But that's and we talked about this, in one of the webinars. That's her frustration, and that emotion, that frustration is bringing out this emotion. It's a little bit of anger. It's a little bit of disgust, but ultimately it's her wanting to say, you guys are just wrong, with no basis for why they're wrong. Just, you're wrong because it doesn't suit my narrative, the narrative that I built in my mind about life.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And when she was on the Fresh and Fit too, I noticed that girls like her, she gets super, super triggered. She like something inside of her, like is causing her to like to not even sit there and calmly listen. She like needs to interject. She needs to validate her own emotions that are being affected by the conversation before her. She doesn't want to live in reality. And the thing is, with simp culture, America being simp nation #1, she's constantly validated with all her stupid ideas and stupid opinions about a bunch of beta guys around her for the sole reason of one thing only. They just want to fuck her.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I could see tension on her face right now. So.
You can see past all the Botox.
She's living away from her cultural upbringing. I mean, she told you her mom and dad are from Israel. They live in Israel. They've been happily married for 40-something years. And, she even, I think she even talks about her sister who's in a long-term marriage, so out of that group, she's the only outlier. So, that it starts out with her having to defy culturally what she's been taught, and embracing something that's against her basically values, the core values that she was taught as a child. And then she has to justify that. So the only way she can justify that is through, accepting whatever she's trying to take in and denying everything else.
Yeah. Yep.
The black sheep of the family.
Right.
Agree with this notion that women
that
need to be dependent on men.
Though.
Would you be okay with a guy who makes less money than you, wants to be a house husband, and wants to be the nurturer who sits at home while you're going off to work?
I have an answer for you. I recognize this biological attraction that I have to men who are providers, but that does not at all mean that I'm going to put myself in a vulnerable position. It means that I'm going to be attracted to a guy who's going to spoil me, whether it's with money or with whatever, attention,
time, affection.
Oh, the vulnerable thing. She considers anything other than her ideal as weakness. And that's just not true. It's actually a strength. She has it 180 degrees wrong.
Yeah.
Raith, you want to add to that?
Well, I mean, like I said, I've watched the whole thing, and she's got some skewed understanding of relationships in the sense that she wants the provider, she wants to be taken care of, but she doesn't want to admit or have to know that she's being taken care of.
And
she
stinks of rich kid, in my opinion. She stinks of rich kid.
Probably so, or at least upper middle class.
Like spoiled brat is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think I'm trying to remember. I watched this about 3 days ago. I think she's also the youngest in of the family. So therefore, she's been given more probably than her sisters. So she expects more.
To be honest,
She
I
expects
would.
on terms.
Sorry, go ahead. She expects more.
She expects more. She expects it on her own terms.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of entitlement with her, fueled by the culture as well. To be very honest with you, this is what I smell on her, and I would love to talk to this chick on Fresh and Fit, and when I go down there in May. But my thing is, I think that she's comes from a well-off family. She's spoiled, and I think she may have found out that a dad cheated on the mom, and that's why she's so resentful to these traditional roles. Because I've seen this before in other women. When they idealize their dad, they feel good, but then they find out about the infidelity, and their mother doesn't conceal it from them or do a good job of kind of washing over it, and they get scarred from a young age, but not understanding the reality of men. That's really what I pick up off her. I could be wrong.
Oh, no. Good call. I haven't even thought of it that way, John. But when you put it like that, I have an example in my head I'm thinking of. I think you might have sniffed something out there. That could be right. I think I've seen that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I think. I think she comes from upper middle class. She was taken care of for a little bit, but I think then dad cheated on mom. He got busted. There was a little bit of emotional hurt going on with her, and now she's like kind of defiant towards these traditional roles in order to protect herself from being hurt again in the future. I think that's what I think, at least.
So, but mom and dad are still together now. Did she say that? I don't.
Yeah,
I think they're still together.
Married for, I think she said like 30 or 40 years.
And I bet she resents the mom a little bit as being weak for not leaving the dad for that shit. But she doesn't understand that. Like, dude, honestly, I'll tell you this, and it's uncomfortable, unpopular opinion, but the girls who know that their man is kind of stepping out on them, but they're like kind of like deluding themselves about it not happening, they also know that deep inside, like, I'm better than these girls because he's just throwing these bitches away, and I'm the one getting Louis Vuitton. I'm the one getting hugs. I'm the one getting date nights. I'm the one getting roses. I'm the one going on vacation. These hoes are just getting fucking pumped and dumped. And I think those kind of chicks are few and far between because there's a lot of ego involved these days. But they also don't understand how men can love a woman to the ends of the earth, that would jump in front of a car to save her because he truly loves her, and still go fuck some bitch off Tinder and never forget, just forget about that bitch. Like, just it's like eating a piece of bread. Like, I just needed to do it for nurturing, But that's right. That they don't understand that. I want to continue here because I love how insufferable she is, because she just brings me endless commentary.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not, that's the stereotype, and there's a reason there's a stereotype, but I don't represent everybody, especially not LGBTQ couples or whatever. Like,
here we go. We got to be fucking woke.
It's just, this is how a relationship works.
Yeah, getting brainwashed in the university.
No, I just randomly got tossed in there. It's amazing.
Yeah. I love black people, by the way, guys. I'm not racist. I have a black friend. His name's King Dre. Just like same shit.
One needs to be the nurturer, one needs to be the provider, period. It's not that women need to depend on men. And I think this is what like the manosphere is trying to tell women, is like, stop being educated, stop making money. And that's not it. I'm not fully cooked yet. I'm not ready to stop. And also, how am I ever going to get to a point in life where I'm meeting the kind of people that I want to be with for the rest of my life if I don't put myself there?
Well, most men aren't there, though. That's the problem.
I don't want those men, though.
You just said you did, though.
No, I didn't. What did I say? What
you said? I want to be around men that I'm attracted to, like the guys that
you can see how uneasy she is. See how she's clenching her hands, kicking her foot, the facial expressions. She's just so not wanting to hear the truth, and she's just like so wanting to be right about how she feels.
Yes, this is what we talked about once before. The need to be right over happiness or fulfillment is huge, and this is a big problem for all relationships. Just have any conversation, watch any TV show. The debate is almost combative if you pay attention to it. And that's not how we used to be. Really interesting. Yeah, she's very tense. You can definitely tell.
Yep. Ray had to step out for a moment, but he'll be back, guys. But yeah, let's continue here.
You feel drawn to.
Mhm.
They're not going to be anywhere near your area, like schooling, where you're making more.
I'm not talking about schooling. I'm talking about if I can't have a conversation about politics and I want a politician.
Okay.
If I'm not in those circles where people are discussing those things.
So like education, you would find a guy that is into politics.
If that's what I
what.
wanted.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, stop right there. I mean, she a problem for every solution, boy. She's doesn't matter what Tori says. She is just that. She's gonna refute everything and deny any statistics coming forward, I would imagine.
Yeah. And she uses just like these little things, like, you know, I want a guy that's be able to talk politics. What is talking about politics, you fucking idiot? Sitting around talking about a bunch of liars promising you shit that's not going to fucking ever happen.
It's a lot of thinking and it's a lot of emotion. I mean, politics is all about emotional manipulation of masses. What good does a relationship have when you talk politics? And here's something that you don't know about RP Thor. You know, 12 years ago, I was involved in politics for about 4 years, and it is an emotional nightmare. And it is very Machiavellian, at least here in California. And I imagine it's like that everywhere. You're seeing it played out on the national stage now. Battle lines are drawn, yet these people have more in common than they realize. They're just two sides of the same coin. They're all doing the same thing. They just label it differently. And so if you're having political conversations, I've met so many people from all political sides, and I just don't engage in those conversations, and I get along great with them. It's fantastic. They'll do anything for me. As soon as politics comes up, oh, you know, I don't pay attention. I'm kind of retarded in that area. Sorry, guys. You know, don't engage. It's destructive to every relationship I've ever seen.
Is no benefit. It's like, what's the purpose? The only thing I ever got politically involved in was I was all about the Trump movement. And the reason was he is legitimately an alpha male. And when we just have sitting pussy after pussy, Obama looks like he sits down to pee. Okay. He was not a masculine man. He was a slimy beta. And this isn't about Democrat or Republican. I hated them all. Right. I was a huge Trump fan before he even became president. Right. And the thing is, the world got to see what a masculine man looks like on a global stage. And you can't undo that.
Boy, they hated him.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Both sides, really. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So let's continue. Let's this female delusion calculator is through the roof here. I really would love to meet this chick and to debate her on the Fresh and Fit and just completely annihilate her. Because
you know, she has some similarities. That girl that you talked with, I recognize it now. That girl you talked with on Beauty Ass Beast, remember? The dark-haired, long-haired one that you said belongs to the streets?
Oh, the Brazilian girl, yeah?
Yeah, she has had a lot of similar thoughts.
Yeah, it's similar to most girls who follow the fucking I'm a dumb modern woman horror fan handbook, you know? Like what is like how to refer any man that disagrees with you: toxic, narcissist, abusive, misogynist. Like just goes down, like probably votes for Trump, you probably this and that. Like you guys are about original as a fucking box of Wheaties. Here, let's continue.
You guys are not agreeing right here. I'd like to get to the heart of the matter here. What's the problem?
I'm gonna take a step back because I feel like I'm triggering, and so there's no good discourse that comes from emotion. So I'll let it move.
I didn't think I was reacting with emotion. If that's how you.
Oh, she is so salty. Tarsha was spot on. She's like, I think I'm triggering you. And then here we go. Look, watch how quickly she snaps back, and you could see the emotion in her. Tarsha hit it nail on the head.
Yep.
Comes from emotion. So I'll let it move with
I didn't
more.
think I was reacting with emotion. If that's how you feel, I would. I will just say, I want to say right now, I'm more than happy to continue having this conversation. I'm definitely not triggered. If you want to stop, that's totally fine.
Let me throw out some numbers at you here.
She's gonna start crying.
When
she's triggered.
Good for Tarsha, you know. She did pick up on it right away. That's good.
When a couple gets together and they're both making the same, or maybe the guy's making a little bit more, and that woman gets a promotion at work, that precipitates divorce. Like I want to say it's like 83 or 86% of the time. So if a woman gets a boost in status and a boost in wealth, that precipitates divorce.
Really?
And so that's that.
Why is that?
Well, because she's again, women don't want men who are their equal. They want a guy that they can look up to. You cannot admire and look up to a man who is your
That's
equal.
why girls, when I say, you know, do you care if a guy is rich or whatever? You know, rich. I ask girls all the time, would you rather a rich guy or a hot guy? And you know,
we asked Victoria Larson that
exactly. I'll take the hot guy, rich guy. A lot of the common times they say, well, I'll take the hot guy, but I want him to have initiative and drive. Even if he's not making money yet, I want the person who's who like is a go-getter. He's
if he won the lottery, it's not gonna boost him, you know.
Exactly, fair enough.
Yeah, because that's found wealth. That's not earned wealth. That's
ambitious.
That's
ambitious.
That's not when you win the lottery. You didn't earn the lottery, and so women are attracted to really what's called creative intelligence. Meaning, like I know how I made $1 million, I lost it, and I made it back again. That's more attractive than I won the lottery, I got $1 million.
Absolutely.
Right?
So when I say this thing where you were like we can switch gender roles and stuff. My point is the stats show that causes divorce, and I'm all about the babies, and they show studies that prove that 2-parent household, it's better.
I completely agree with you. I think that it's important that I address something that maybe didn't come across, which is I want to recognize that like the majority of society goes by these traditional gender roles. So there's a reason that it's, you know,
majority of the world goes by these.
Yeah, and then something interesting there when they're talking about you know, the man has to be a higher status, higher earner, placed above the woman. This is intrinsic because the egalitarians, John, they will say that is not true. The social construction, no way, and it's pounded in their head. But everything about her core and her being says exactly opposite to that. Even her actions will. They must be led and made comfortable in order to do what Portia said. That's to have the babies, to be secure enough to do that. That's what her biology will tell her. And instincts are powerful. They drive hormones, they drive thoughts, moods, emotions, and of course, feelings.
Yeah. Let's hear her. I want to hear her rebuttal here.
80%.
Majority.
Yeah, vast majority
goes by the gender roles.
Yes, is biologically preconditioned to be attracted to a partner who has certain.
So biologically, or like gender roles, like based on society, whatever society expects of you, because there's two different things.
Well, if you go back, you know, 10,000 years, the women were gathering and making a nest, and the men were hunting, and the women would be attracted to the men.
Women were working too, though. Actually,
of course, it's just a different type of work.
No, like they were working. Like making tools.
Listen, I'm from Israel. I served in the military. You know, in Israel, it's mandatory for men and women. Yeah, and I still feel that women can be strong. They can be independent.
Of course.
Whatever. And they still can be feminine. Yeah. There's a power to femininity. So to bring back to my point before, I do think that the majority of us have some sort of connection to that, like
so you're saying like biological, like something from back innate.
Yeah. It's in our biology to be that way. And that's okay. Like we need to,
well, can I get a bottom line answer from you? Would you rather be the stay-at-home wife, the stay-at-home mom, take care of the kids, and your man does all the work? Or would you rather be the independent woman and your man does kind of the female role?
I'm really passionate about certain things. Like if you guys go on my TikTok, you'll see that one of my missions in life is to try and change the narratives about Israel and Palestine. So I would never be willing on giving that up, but that doesn't make me any money. And I'm not interested in having to make any money.
You're a beta male. You're
what does that have to do with your family?
So I'm saying I'm not a person who needs to be the provider. Right, what I need is to be able to work on projects and be passionate about something.
You want to take care of the kids, but also have a purpose.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to go back to
her purpose is she's very confusing.
She's like I said, nobody can keep up with her idiocy because Portia's comment was not even answered.
Not even close.
Yeah, she talks about going back in 10,000 years ago and some shit. Hold on.
I completely agree with you. I think that it's important that I address something that maybe didn't come across, which is I want to recognize that like the majority of society
Wait,
goes
hold on.
by that
Torch made a
Earned the-
point.
Ambitious.
That's
ambitious.
That's not when you win the lottery. You didn't earn the lottery, and so women are attracted to really what's called creative intelligence, meaning like I know how I made $1 million, I lost it, and I made it back again. That's more attractive than I won the lottery, I got $1 million,
Absolutely.
right?
So when I say this thing where you were like we can switch gender roles and stuff, my point is the stats show that causes divorce. And I'm all about the babies, and they show studies that prove that 2-parent household, it's better.
I completely agree.
So Torsh's point that she's making is when they switch to gender roles, when women act like men and men act like women, not only do they die sooner by heart attack, which I covered earlier this month on this channel, because men who are house husbands are more likely to fucking die of a heart attack than guys who will go out and work, even if their job is more stressful. And women who are the breadwinners at home are more likely to die from heart attack than men in those same positions. So,
That's right.
And that's what Torch is saying, is it's also leads to divorce. And this bitch starts talking about 10,000 years ago, like she just got done watching fucking X-Men Apocalypse. Like, I don't fucking get it. I just want to play this to see if it makes any sense, because I think people don't do this because the conversation is so fast. Because when I watch Fresh and Fit and I watch her, she does this. She's a speed manipulator. She is a very fast manipulator, and she's quickly, because she goes from talking 10,000 BC to I served in the military. But where the fuck is this going with the conversation at hand? That traditional gender roles are better for the men, for the woman, for the family, and for society.
Yeah, she has a skill that a lot of politicians have, and that's obfuscation.
Yeah. Well, Mark Daniel sending me all his money. Jesus Christ, Mark, thank you so much. $49.99 super chat. They all think their beauty will last forever, and by the time they realize that it doesn't, it's too late. It is really sad. Then they become resentful at men for the mistake they have made. I've seen it many times in my life. Great show. Thank you so much, Mark. Now here, I just want the men to pay attention, because here is exactly what happens. So Torcia said traditional gender roles are better for all people involved. This is her rebuttal. Pay attention, because I want you to understand how these hyper manipulators like her are out there in the real world.
Agree with you. I think that it's important that I address something that maybe didn't come across, which is I want to recognize that like the majority of society goes by these traditional gender roles. So there's a reason that it's 80%.
Majority.
Yeah, vast majority
goes by the gender roles.
Yes, is biologically preconditioned to be attracted to a partner who has certain.
So biologically, or like gender roles, like based on society, whatever society expects of you. Because
because that's what she's saying. Because one thing is, and the man is here. What's up, Donovan? Welcome, baby.
What's going on, guys? Word to the wise, be very, very careful with Everclear.
You're good, man. You're good. I'm sure you've seen this bundle of joy on the left-hand side from Fresh and Fit.
Yes, I have. She's very, very good at talking in circles. She uses a lot of misnomers, and what she'll do is she'll start another conversation without answering the question. So for example, would you rather have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or a ham sandwich? And her answer is, it's interesting because I used to eat spaghetti when I was younger, so I prefer Italian food. Bitch, that's not what I asked. I said peanut butter and jelly or ham. And the reason why people do this is because they know that if they give what they believe is the correct answer, it's going to prove their point. At some point, when you get cornered, you have to start using disingenuous tactics. And this is one of them.
Yes, obfuscation. That's a skill that they teach politicians.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yep, that's 100% correct. I should have just said what Thor said.
No, it's good. I want to join here. My TLDR analysis on her, Don, is I think that she definitely stinks of rich kid to me. And more so, in addition to that, I think that she saw her dad cheating on the mom, saw the mom stay together, and she's resentful. And that's why she's like this whole women can do whatever the fuck they want. Deep down inside, she's a little girl crying and sad inside.
Well, again, listen, MLD, you're right. Women can do whatever they want. It's just that women, like especially modern women, they don't want to accept the consequences. For every sequence, there is a consequence. That's why it's called consequence. And so when women say, hey, well, I can do anything I want, you absolutely can do anything you want. But what most women don't realize until it's too late is that doing anything you want has a cost. Just like us, doing anything we want has a cost. We're prepared to endure and absorb those costs. Women are not.
Yep. So right here, it's funny that you mentioned that and you just came in. So I was pointing out that Torsha said right now that when it comes to divorce, children, and relationship stability overall, it's better for traditional gender roles to be fulfilled, right?
Right.
And watch what she does right here.
Oh yeah.
I want to recognize that like the majority of society goes by these traditional gender roles. So there's a reason that it's, 80%.
Majority?
Yeah, vast majority.
Goes by the gender roles?
Yes. Is biologically preconditioned to be attracted to a partner who has certain.
So biologically or like gender roles, like based on society, whatever society expects of you? Because there's two different things.
Well, if you go back, 10,000 years, the women were gathering and making a nest.
Did it again. She just did it again.
And the women would be attracted to the
women
men
were working.
Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, what Tori did is she just told her, she just split the argument. Okay. Tori said, whoa, wait a minute. Being biologically predisposed rather, and being societally preconditioned to want gender roles, those are two very different things. And so Tori asks her, okay, listen, I'm going to try to nail you down. Which one are you talking about? And she goes, well, back in the day, women were gatherers. No, sweetheart. What she asked you was, which one are you talking about? And by the way, anybody who uses the word society, what is this, 7th grade? Like, what society, blah, 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 blah. We got to do better, especially when we're talking to women like this. Because, dude, the society word makes anyone sound woke.
Yeah, I just wanted to point this out.
Too, though. Actually.
Of course. It's just a different type of work.
No, like they were working. Like making tools.
Listen, I'm from Israel. I served in the military. In Israel, it's mandatory for men and women. Yeah, and I still feel that women can be strong. They can be independent.
Of course.
Whatever. And they still can be feminine.
Yeah.
There's a power to femininity.
Yes, there is, as long as it is serving masculinity. See, there, and I hate to dominate the conversation here.
Dominate. It's your Don, baby. Go ahead.
Dude, bitches like this crack me up. There's a power to femininity. Absolutely. And I would actually submit to you guys, femininity is the strongest. It's the strongest and most powerful force in the world. Femininity moves nations. Femininity is the reason why wars were fought. Helen of Troy, Marie Antoinette, Anne Boleyn, and Henry VIII moved heaven and earth to kick his wife. I think his wife's name was Elizabeth. I could be wrong. To be able to marry Anne Boleyn. So femininity does have its strength, just not in the way that women want to use it. And she's right. Women, she says, I feel that women can be strong and independent. You know what? I feel like I should have played center field for the Kansas City Royals, but that didn't happen. It has nothing to do with the way I feel. It has everything to do with what is, fair or not.
Right. So true. And that's why I always say it's all about the poon. Femininity is the most powerful. It drives us.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
And in addition to that, she's not answering the fucking question. She went from let's talk about 10,000 BC to I was a woman that served in the military. Great. Get to your fucking point because you haven't made it.
She wanted to make herself qualified with that. And notice that she served in the military to try to bolster her position. And instead of saying she thinks or believes, she says, I feel that. And she's relating it to her serving in the military. Very woke language there.
And I'll tell you this, she assumes that we assume that because she served in the military, she was an infantry. She assumes that we know that we assume that she knows how to use an M16. She knows how to clean a Glock. She ran. She ran with a pack 5 miles. No. The standards for women in the military are much lower than men physically. Whatever she did in the military, thank you for her Israeli service, but serving in the military as a woman it's a whole different animal than actually doing it as a man.
Well, her saying that's a power move. Okay, right. She would say, I have filled a role of a man, so I understand the man, and I am better than you, is what she's trying to tell Tori.
There you go.
And it's not something valiant. You were forced to do this, bitch.
Right. Right. She didn't choose to join the military. She said it's a requirement. Well, I'm brave because I served in the military, even though it's a requirement. No, bitch, you would not have. Look at her. Dude, she's basically a younger wannabe Scarlett Johansson. She would not have joined the military if she didn't have to. So, like, quit all of that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Here we go.
Well, but what I was going to say is she can't answer the question and she can't give an argument because she has no basis to do that from. Because she doesn't have the science, she doesn't have the statistics, and all she has is her feelings. So she's trying to exert her power through her feelings and using examples of how she's been powerful in the past, and that makes her powerful now.
There you go. Wow, good point. Very good point.
Let's continue. We got about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to this, but I'm still waiting for her to make a point.
To my point before, I do think that the majority of us have some sort of connection to that,
so you're saying like biological, like something from back innate.
Yeah. It's in our biology.
I also love it how each of the girls, when they're unsure, they look to their man corner. Like when Torch is unsure, she looks at Rolo, and when Saz is unsure, when she's unsure, she looks at Saz. I think it's so funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
You can be that way, and that's okay. Like we need a.
Well, can I get a bottom line answer?
Ooh, very good.
But see, he saves her ass.
He does.
She doesn't answer the fucking question.
He doesn't. It sounds to me like he's about to sharp angle her. He's like, all right, listen, you didn't answer the question. I'm not going to call you out on it, but let's get a bottom line answer. So it appears as though he's about to really press her again. Let's see how she responds.
Be the stay-at-home wife, the stay-at-home mom, take care of the kids, and your man does all the work? Or would you rather be the independent woman and your man does kind of the female role?
I'm really passionate about certain things. Like if you guys go on my TikTok, you'll see that one of my missions in life is to try and change the narratives about Israel and Palestine. So I would never be willing on giving that up, but that doesn't make me any money. And I'm not interested in having to make any money.
But what does that have to do with your family?
Well, she needs a man for money.
I'm not a person who needs to be the provider. What I need is to be able to work on projects and be passionate about something.
You want to take care of the kids, but also have a purpose.
Yeah, definitely.
Fair enough. Tori, are you okay with being the more maternal mother, take care of the?
So she saved her ass.
Yeah.
Well, he gave her the option, and she said both.
Yeah, she wants a man to give her the money so she can do her thing.
Yeah.
Have her cake and eat it too.
There you go.
Kids, and then your man does the provider. You're good with that.
Yeah.
Do you think most women are good with that?
No, I don't.
And that's the problem that I think
Rolo
is
it's not necessarily.
So I'll can it there. I'll do a little bit more of an in-depth solo breakdown later this week on the show, probably Thursday. Don, I'm glad to have you here because you did a fantastic show with you and your incredibly wonderful, useful woman, Devin, which is a rare thing these days because girls don't realize guys like us want a woman that's useful around us. We can get pussy any day of the week because girls are just throwing it out like it's free samples at Costco.
Right.
And your show, I was, when I met you, I met Devin in real life. Obviously, she's a very sweet girl, but I didn't really talk to her too much because everything was rushed when we were together.
Yeah.
I was blown away at how intelligent she is. And this is not me like simping like the typical, she's a smart girl, you know what I mean? But how very articulate she was in making her points. And you, in my opinion, like you've kind of understood the importance of teaching guys the value of relationships because we both realize, you can't live that raging alcohol, cocaine fueled lifestyle. Speaking for myself, for a long time. Or it'll fucking literally kill you.
Yes, it will. It's great. It's great fun. And I think, and it's interesting. I think, and if I'm not mistaken, I think both you and I are sort of I know that I'm undergoing sort of an evolution. And what's really interesting, and I'll bring this all the way back in terms of the importance of relationships. What is very interesting about my evolution as a content creator is that anyone who's followed me from the start, and that's very few people have seen my evolution. When I first came out, I was a bomb thrower, bitches ain't shit, train your woman like your dog, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well, about a year later, I get into a long-term relationship with Dev. I'm still the same person, bomb throw, blah, blah, blah. But a funny thing happens after you leave the game. You grow up. And this happens to everybody. Now, there are some men who are just going to be happy being, world traveling womanizers. I think Troy Francis is probably the closest.
Troy Francis myself.
Troy is probably the closest to that. But most people, men and women, we are designed to seek out relationships with persons of the opposite sex. Now, in that same vein, me as a man, Donovan Sharp, I don't need Devin. I don't need her. Does this mean I love her any less? Of course not. What I'm doing is I'm simply acknowledging, okay, if you want to check out of the dating market, if you want to be, the renegade playboy forever, if you want to emulate that lifestyle, if you want to emulate guys like Troy Francis, no problem, go ahead. But I'm here to tell you, I am living proof that as a man, as long as if you find a woman who is willing to learn and be coached and follow your lead, your life can be elevated by the right woman. Well, how do I find the right woman, Donovan? You don't find her. You have to create her. And therein lies the challenge, because it took me a long, long time to get Devin where she is. And one last point, the reason why Devin is very smart and articulate and intelligent is because she's 45 years old. She's lived her life. She's been coding and SEO and building websites for the better part of the last 2 decades. And she was in a relationship for almost 20 years. She was married before she met me. And even though that marriage was bad and terrible and all this other kind of stuff, just like mine, what that taught me is that, okay, even though she was in what was a bad marriage, it wasn't all bad all the time, just like mine, but it showed me that she had relationship skills. She had problem solving skills. She had conflict resolution skills. She didn't have to use conflict resolution skills because what I say goes, but a woman who has been in a relationship that long has potential. I recognize that in Devin, and she is a genetic freak. She is an unbelievable genetic specimen. She looks great for her age, but when you meet, this is one of the benefits of meeting women who are a little bit older. I'm not saying go after older women, guys, because my situation is an outlier. Does that make me special? No, but that certainly makes me different. So but being in a relationship with a woman that you trust, that you love, and that you can build trust with as time goes on, it really does have potential to elevate a man's life.
I had no idea she's 45. She looks great. I thought she was like 37, 36, 38 or somewhere around there.
Well, it's funny. I lied about her age for the better part of 5 years. And then, of course, the truth came out about her. And I remember thinking to myself, there was really no reason for me to lie about her age, because she looked great. She looks better now than when I met her. But it is
the bottom line. I think a lot of guys miss about why we all got into the red pill and why we got into the manosphere. It's for us to get the women that we want,
right?
Not that our fucking viewers want. Not if it was up to me, if it was up to my mom, I'd be married to a woman named Crystal who's fat as shit right now and 4 years older than me. And that's not what I want. That's not what no offense to Crystal if she's watching out there. But that's why we got into it. And that's the thing I realized too, you got to do what you want to do as man. That's the number one thing about being man. But bring it back to this whole thing. Because you're on the panel now, I want to ask you.
Let me interject one thing real quick, because I see it both you, John, and in Donovan. It is a real pleasure for me, having been in such a long-term relationship that's so good, and to see the advantages actually coming upon you, and to see what benefits that Devin adds to Donovan, and then to you, John, with your long-term relationship. It's a real pleasure to see you guys actually experiencing that right now. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, and I'd like to say something too. I mean, same thing. John and I were talking the other day, and Donovan, I used you as an example. I said, go back and look over the last 5 years of his podcast, and you'll see how he's developed, and you'll understand. Women bring value to a relationship if they're valuable, in the sense that you have the ability to add value.
Yep.
And like I said earlier, her being in that relationship with you gives you the opportunity to explore other things that you need to do, because you're not worrying about some of the mundane stuff like cooking your own dinner, those kind of things. It creates time, and that creates value for a man, because then a man can go out and self-actualize.
Yeah.
Wow. I'd never even thought of it that way, but you're right. What Devin gives me, the most valuable commodity that Devin creates for me by her existence in my life, is time. And that is the most valuable commodity. Holy God.
100%.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because you can't, and that's why we got to where we are today as society as men.
Of course.
Because if you think fucking Donald Trump sits around and washes his underwear, you think he's been doing that shit and prepping his own food? No, he was out there dominating, making billions of fucking dollars.
That's right.
And that's the thing. Women too, they want to be like, you know what they say, like, you know, behind every successful man is a great woman.
Behind every great man is a great woman.
Because she's fucking following him. And she's
makes sense.
And she's supporting him too.
A level of fulfillment from that. I mean, you have to see it to, and other women sometimes that don't have this in their life, they don't experience that level of fulfillment that they get when they're partnered, you know, when they're with that man of their dreams and they're helping him become successful. You can see it all over them, and they glow almost.
Yes. Nothing. Women don't, and Myron and I, we talk about this all the time. We as men, we derive pleasure from conquering. We derive pleasure from building something out of nothing. That's why I decided to create an all-female panel, just to see what I could do. That's why I decided to do the CME. And by the way, I'm getting ready to announce Thor as our newest confirmed speaker. So congratulations to you, my friend. But this is why I said, you know what? I want to build something. And that we derive pleasure from that. Women don't derive the same pleasure from conquering and building as men do. And that's why most women these days are fucking miserable. Now, of course, the economy, it has to be a 2-income economy, not if you know what you're doing with your money. Guys say, well, I need a woman to work because we need money. No, you need to live below your means. And that's a whole other conversation. But like I said, being in a relationship with a woman used to be frowned upon in the red pill community. And I'm not trying to lead some change or some revolution, because most of the top guys like me, we're all in good, solid relationships, what appear to be good, solid relationships. But there's something for everybody. But by the same token, we are all fundamentally the same. Yes, our surface level preferences vary from person to person. But a lot of times women like to skew the argument, well, okay, so you're the dominating my way or the highway guy. And if women like that, that's fine. Everybody's different. No. Everybody's different surface level wise. Fundamentally, a man wants a woman who is going to follow, and women want a man who's going to lead. That's been the same since the dawn of time.
Yeah. And again, like going back to the current situation with the modern women in relationships, right? These girls, I was telling you about this the other day, the majority of these girls, they by default ruin the relationship just by being in it. And why do you think that is, Don?
Oh, easy. The reason why women these days come ready-made with bad habits. What our culture tells women is healthy and normal and strong and independent are literally activities that could lead to cheating all the time. Women, by their very actions every day, engage in activities that put their relationship at risk all the time. Why do you think relationships are in the shit right now? Women are on social media. That is rife with infidelity. Women go to bars and clubs. That is rife with infidelity. Girls trips. There was a girl on Fresh and Fit. She was 40-something years old. Said, hey man, the reason why girls trips exist is because your girl wants to go on a girls trip because there's a guy she wants to fuck, and she needs her friends to come with her to cover her for her story. And of course, living in Vegas for as long as I did, I was on the other end of that girls trip. I can't tell you how many wives and girlfriends I smashed who were in town for a convention or a vacation or some sort of meetup or some sort of girls trip. So I know what happens there. Don't date women who travel for work. Don't date women who go to bars and clubs, things like that. Even going to lunch with their male coworkers puts their relationship at risk. Yeah. And so guys continuously get blindsided by women, and they're like, why did this happen? Most men, John, have no idea that when a woman comes into a relationship, she already has habits ingrained in her that our culture tells her is the right thing to do that lead to infidelity all the time. And we all know that women are getting hit in the face with dicks as soon as they walk out the door. Then when they go to sleep, even on their phone, the dicks are flying out of the phone and hitting them in the face. No wonder why cheating and infidelity is rampant. And for anyone out there who says, well, it's because men ain't shit, I'll put it to you this way. You take a group of 100 women and ask them, how many times have you been dumped? I can promise you, not a one of them will say more than one. Better than 9 times out of 10, it is women who end the relationships and not men. And this is between marriage and relationships. Yep. And the reason why they end these relationships is because they have behaviors that lead to cheating all the time, even at work. It's incredible. It really is a shame.
Oh, I see that with my clients too right now. I mean, they're encouraged to have single male friends, modern women, single male friends while they're in a relationship, or friends from high school. It's okay.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, they don't get it. Like the male friends thing. I don't care if he's DMing you on Instagram here or there or fucking saying hi. Like it's not okay.
Nope.
It's just it's disrespectful to me as a man.
I'll tell you this.
They just don't get it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, when you're game on point, she isn't gonna have them, guys. She'll drop them all.
I'll push back on that. I don't think so. I think maybe back in the day, yeah, but a lot of these girls are just retarded, bro. They're literally like they just don't fucking understand, and they literally think there's nothing wrong with having male friends and being in a relationship at the same time. I don't think it has anything to do with your game being on point or anything like that. I literally just think they are truly uneducated on the matter.
So ask the question: how many of us have female friends?
Yeah, every female friend I have, I fucked.
Right.
That's exactly right. I used to tell Dev when Dev and I first got together, the only time I'm friends with a woman is if I'm trying to fuck her, I am fucking her, or I have fucked her. That's it. There's no such thing as listen, there's no such thing as female friends. And a lot of people, well, what about you, Donovan and Allie and Janelle? And those are not my friends. Those are my associates. Those are my coworkers. I happen to like these women as
digital associates as well.
There you go. It's nothing live or in living color.
Yeah. And that's what women don't understand. You know, and men don't seek out women to be friends. We seek out women for one purpose.
That's right.
And when we get into a relationship, we're more stable about that because we already don't have women friends.
That's right.
You know, so asking, and you said something about, being dominant. There's a difference between being dominant and domineering.
Oh, I like that. That makes perfect sense.
100%.
Okay. Dominant doesn't have to be enforced because they already realize it.
There you go.
And because they realize it, they're willing to change. And you take you, Donovan, same with you, John. You have that in your relationships right now. You don't have to be domineering. Now, do you have to set boundaries and set those standards for the relationship? Sure you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But, the thing is women they automatically translate being dominant to domineering. And that's a negative construct for them because that's where, if I say no, that's abuse. That's where all that stuff comes from.
Right. Controlling, toxic,
right.
Possessive, blah, 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 blah. And what Raith just said is important, setting boundaries and expectations. And a lot of guys who are watching now and a lot of guys who will watch this on the replay. So a lot of guys say, okay, guys, we understand the problem. So listen, I'm a guy. I want to be in a relationship. I admit that I'm not going to be one of these black pill dorks who, I don't need. How do I set boundaries and expectations? There are a couple, and I'll make this very, very quickly. The first and most important thing, if you don't hear anything else I say today, this is so important. When you are seeing a woman, I repeat, do not angle for a relationship first. Do not ask a woman to be in a committed relationship with you first. The reason for that is when you angle for a relationship first, you are automatically forfeiting your ability to set boundaries, expectations, and enforce them. I'll give you an example. Let's say you ask a girl, hey, would you like to be my girl? Let's say I meet some girl named Allison, right? And hey, Allison, would you like to be my girlfriend? Sure, I'd like to be your girlfriend. Okay, great. You got to hand me your phone. I got to have access to your phone. You can't go to bars or clubs. You can't travel alone. You can't go to girls' nights out. And you can't be on social media. You know what Allison's going to say? She's going to be like, dude, fuck you. You asked me to be your girlfriend, and I said yes. What I essentially just did there is I told her, hey, you want to be my girlfriend? It's almost like a bait and switch. Oh, yeah, sure, let's be your girlfriend. And then we give her the requirements. However, if Allison likes me enough, then at some point she's going to ask. Now, she's not going to say, hey, can we be boyfriend and girlfriend? You guys know how girls do it. So what are we? What exactly is this? My friends and family are asking me questions about who's this tall, good-looking black guy who drives an awesome car and has all this money. That's when that's when they're trying to angle for the relationship. So what you do, this is very important. The first 2 to 3 times she tries to angle for a relationship, tell her you don't want to be in a relationship with a guy like me. Well, wait a minute. Why not? Because having sex with me and being in a relationship with me are 2 very, very different things. Well, why is it so different? Just drop it. She's going to drop it. She's going to try 1, maybe 2 more times. Finally, she's going to say, she's going to give you this line. I know you guys have heard this one before. Listen, I like you a lot, but if we don't make this thing official, then we can't be fucking, or we can't have sex anymore, right? So then you say to her, okay, do you really want to know what it's like to be my girlfriend? Yeah. Are you sure? Yeah. Okay, get ready. Fucking Donovan, show me already. Okay, unlock your phone and hand it to me right now. Okay. 11 times out of 10, she is going to hesitate. At that point, you say, well, there you go. That's what it takes to be in a relationship with a guy like me. She is going to drop it because she really likes you. She's asked you 2-3 times to be your girlfriend. She's going to do it a 4th time. This time, she's going to be ready for you. Okay, unlock your phone and hand it to me right now. She hands you her phone. There's no need to go through her phone, guys, but just give her the impression that you are. She says, okay, I mean, like, well, what's up now? Tell her that's a start. She's going to say, that's a start. What else does it take? Well, I'm not your father, and I'm not going to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. However, I don't commit to women who go to bars or clubs. I don't commit to women who travel alone. I don't commit to women who go to girls' nights out. I don't commit to women who are friends with their exes, and I don't commit to women who are on social media. Are you telling me that I have to delete my social media? You can do whatever you want. I'm telling you that if you are on social media, then you are the kind of woman I do not commit to. She's going to do the math in her head and say, okay, this is what it takes to be in a relationship with him. At no time did I say, delete your social media. You can't travel, blah, 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 blah. You simply let her know for every sequence, there is a consequence. Now guys will say, well, Donovan, what if she never asked me to be my girlfriend? Then player, she doesn't like you as much as you think she does, at which point you either continue fucking her casually or you move on. But at any rate, you don't give women commands, you give them choices. And the way you give women choices is indirectly. Rolla says it all the time, demonstrate, don't explicate. Sometimes you do have to explicate. So by telling her to unlock your phone and hand it to me right now, you are letting her know directly and indirectly vis-a-vis asking for the phone. Okay, if I'm in a relationship with this guy, then my phone, I've got to be transparent, because we all know the smartphone is where all of the magic happens. That's just a very short snippet on how, and I did this with Devin to perfection, and she fell right in. A lot of people want to know, why is it that she does whatever Donovan says and she this and that? It's because I am steadfast. I don't let her get away with anything. That's how I do it.
Yeah, and you got, I mean, the thing, boundaries are useless if you don't enforce them.
That's right.
You know,
it's 100% right.
Well, you also gave her a goal too. When you do that, you actually make yourself much more valuable, because you have this standard that she's never seen. And what you just described actually places her, if she likes you, above 99% of all the others that tried before.
No man has ever said that to her before. Every woman I've ever done this with, I promise you, I was the first guy to do it. Guys, that's your competition. This is your competition, dude. 99.9% of guys have no idea how to handle women, which is why they come and find communities like this.
But you know what, Donovan? She lives up to your expectations because you live up to yourself. Your set expectations for yourself.
Yeah, right. You have to be investable. You can't be like, well, you can't go to bars or clubs if you're a fat ass with no drive. You got to be worth it yourself.
All right. And that's way too many of these young men today think, and yes, you have a right as a man to have expectations.
Yes.
Okay, of the women that you're bringing into your life, but you have to have similar expectations for yourself.
Yep.
And hold yourself to a standard of growth constantly. If you're not doing that, then you're of no value to other men, and you're of no value to women.
Agreed. You can't require, and dude, I paid Devin's personal trainer $2,400 a month. She's actually here now to come to the house and train Dev for an hour. If I get Devin a personal trainer and tell her to eat right and this and that and the other, but I'm not doing the same, then what reason does she have to follow my lead? Guys, you gotta be if you want a woman to follow your lead, you have to actually lead. Also, be ready to be the leader. Guys always say, well, I want a woman who's submissive and follows direction. Okay, they get a woman who's like that, and now the woman is asking him permission. And what do you think of this? Oh my God, she asked so many questions. Player, you wanted to be the leader. You wanted to follow her lead because she's following. This doesn't, it's being the leader of the relationship. It's not all peaches and cream, guys. You're the decision maker, and the buck stops with you. You're the quarterback of the football team. Whether you win or lose, guess what? The media is pointing to you. Why have you lost 3 of your last 4 games, even though your completion percentage is 75? Maybe you're making the wrong reads. Maybe your defense is not playing well, but the buck stops with you each and every time. That's the burden of masculine performance that we as men have.
Yes.
Yep. Well, listen, it's been a great episode, guys. I appreciate you tuning in today. We're going to continue with Modern Women March on Thursday. I'll be doing a compilation breakdown. I have a bunch of clips that I'm just going to break down right off the top of my head, talking about just multiple examples of insufferability. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, and we'll be here live tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Tokyo Crypto Show. Don't forget to check out the CME, the Conference of Masculine Excellence, where I will be speaking. Red Pill Thor will be speaking, and Donovan will be speaking. And until then, we'll see you guys next time.